Assalamu alaikum and good evening. Today we have seen that Islamabad High Court has announced that the former judge of Islamabad High Court, Mr. Tariq Jahangri, has been removed as a judge of the High Court, and the Law Ministry has been directed in the order to de-notify him. Naturally, Mr. Tariq would definitely will exercise his right and will appeal this decision. So we'll be talking about this issue as well as the other issues related to. um we have seen that the former DGI, Gen Faiz, was being convicted, and the federal ministers, the sitting federal ministers, are saying that there was a nexus between the former Prime Minister Imran Khan and former DGI. It seems that the government might be going regarding the cases of May 9, where the military installations were being attacked by the protesters at that time. So all these issues we are going to take up. I have a very prominent lawyer, senior advocate, Supreme Court of Pakistan, Mr. Ahmed Awais. He was a former Advocate General of Punjab and associated with PTI. Thank you very much, Mr. Ahmed, for joining me. Please tell me about Tariq Jahangiri's decision today.
Yes, it is this. The Division Bench of the Islamabad High Court has announced its decision, and the decree of LLB decree of Mr. Jahangiri has been declared as a fake decree, and on that basis he could not continue as a judge. So it has been further directed to the Law Ministry to de-notify him. But I personally feel, because government machinery is so powerful and everything is at the disposal of the government machinery, and so at this stage it looks like a case of victimization, because when he has become this judge of High Court, so because he has undergone a lot of inquiries and procedure. After getting the law graduation, he entered in the law profession. Even while getting the license, he had undergone an inquiry, and they scrutinized all the documents pertaining to his academic career. And then thereafter, when he became the advocate of Supreme Court. So at that time, Pakistan Bar Council invites one has to submit the application along with all the credentials, all academic qualification, and all relevant documents to that effect. And again, such documents are scrutinized. And thirdly, above all, when he was elevated to the bench, then oil agencies such as ISI and IB and other agencies, they completely and thoroughly they scrutinize each and every aspect of the personality of a person, his character, his general reputation, and then also his academic career. And so he passed through, cleared everything, and then he was elevated to the bench. And for so many years, he has been being judge of the High Court. He has been performing the function of a judge of dispensation of justice. So what has happened, you might have heard the news a year back, when a poet from Azad Kashmir, his name was Ahmed Farad, he wrote a poem. It was, I haven't gone through that, but I believe that it was against the present system and, of course, the military hierarchy. And so on that account, he was picked up and his whereabouts were not known. Finally, the habeas corpus petition was filed, and which was heard by Mr. Jahangiri. And he was very ferocious on them, and he said that he has to be brought to the court and called the senior officers to appear before the court, and then directed the IEG police and others to bring him to the court wherever he has been in hiding or is under some wrongful confinement. And finally, he was produced. He was initially, it was told to the court that he is in Azad Kashmir, in under some confinement, and then he was produced to the court and he was released. So I think that was the reason that he was not on the good books of the government. And then after, suddenly one heard that his LLB decree is a fake decree. In fact, in my estimation, if it is so, then all such agencies and the relevant officers, how high they may be in their office, they should be brought to book. There should be a case against them, they should be prosecuted, and they should be equally punished. Because it's not a small thing. A judge, he has been performing this function of dispensation of justice with a fake decree. He was not qualified to be a judge if it is so. But my estimation, this is a case of victimization. Because earlier,
But
it once, I tell you,
yeah,
there's a case also. At the time of when Mr. Bhutto was convicted in the murder case by the full larger bench of Lahore High Court, and then appeal was filed before the Supreme Court. And in the Supreme Court, the decision was split. It was 5-3. 3 judges honorably acquitted him, and 5 judges convicted him. And one of the judge who in fact, who honorably acquitted him was Mr. Safdar Shah, barrister, the judge of Supreme Court. After he was hanged, then suddenly news was broken that the decree of Justice Safdar Shah is faked and he should be prosecuted for that matter. And then he had been running from pillar to post, and finally, somehow he managed to escape by crossing the border from Pakistan to Afghanistan, and that is how he saved himself. So it was a case again, I believe the case again is a case of victimization. And unless they charge against these all relevant officers who time and again, after scrutinizing everything, declared that everything is all right and he was elevated to the bench. If this judge is only singled out, then something is wrong, and this is a case of victimization. It's not a case of conviction.
if the Higher Education Commission, as well as the university from where he got initially the degree, if they say that if they confirm that the degree was not genuine, it was a fake, then what the court can do?
It is, it was ex-party proceedings because he never joined the proceedings. He had already filed a petition before the Supreme Judicial Council and before the Federal Constitutional Court. Although no hearing was done there, but everything was the proceedings which have been taken up, and finally we ended up with
in the present proceeding, please tell me that since the university and the HSC, they in fact produce certain evidence against Mr. Tariq Jahangri. So what you would say about that?
The case of victimization, because had it been a clear case, foolproof case, and the evidence was quite original in its form, and nothing fake was in it, then in that situation, all relevant officers who held inquiry, who cleared him at the time of entering into profession, at the time of getting the Supreme Court license, and at the time of elevation to the bench. All those senior officers from the agencies, no matter they are from ISI or from this IB or from any other agency, they should have been they should be brought to book, they should be prosecuted, and there should be a criminal trial against them. Only then the reliability can be attached to the judgment which has been announced today.
So, how you see this new amendment? Do you think that has it compromised the independence of the judiciary, the 27th Amendment, and there is a talk of 28th Amendment as well? So, what you would like to say on that?
Yeah, this 26th Amendment and 27th Amendment, they have completely shattered the basic structure of the Constitution. The Constitution is based on trichotomy of authority. One pillar is Parliament, second is executive, and the third is judiciary. And the focus is on the independence of judiciary. Now, what is being done with this amendment, the judiciary has been put right under the thumb of the executive. And if you further ask me to elaborate, I would say the establishment has put the present government, the executive, under its own thumb. And then again, subsequently, the judiciary is under the thumb of the executive. And so any judge which has been appointed in the Federal Constitution Court, it has been nominated by the Prime Minister. And you can imagine, if the judges are appointed like this by the executive, by the Prime Minister, how dare they can do anything against the government? They just can't think. They are simply a tankhadar, just sitting there enjoying their huge salaries, and they have no authority to go independently.
But presently, the Federal Constitutional Court judges, they are those honorable judges who are already being functioning or working in the judicial system of Pakistan.
What they are doing? If there is any complaint against the government, if there is complaint pertaining to the rule of law, is there a complaint about the habeas corpus matters, if there is complaint that these fundamental rights have been subjugated, have been trampled, absolutely no relief to the aggrieved person. Absolutely. This is happening daily, here and there. And if any judge, he tries to be that independent, he would be having the fear of transferring to some remote area overnight. And this is the system. So how it is possible that in such conditions, any judge would dare or would show extraordinary courage to go for the independent judgments, even against the government?
So you are a senior lawyer.
Second example is, after this 26th Amendment, at least 36, 37 constitution petitions were filed before the federal bench. And all those petitions remained pending for about 1 year. And then finally hearing started. And before it could be concluded, 27th Amendment came into picture. And after 27th, all those petitions have now lost, faded in the air. And so, and we are now against 27th Amendment. And you know how the judges of the 27th Amendment have been appointed. Now, interestingly, any judge of the this Federal Constitution Court, who has been elevated right a day before from the High Court to this bench. He the other day, the last week, in one of the cases, a case was called before the Federal Constitutional Court, and it was told by some other counsel that the counsel is appearing before the Supreme Court, so he would be coming here after a while. The judge immediately said, how dare he could appear before the Supreme Court when the case was pending before this court, because Supreme Court is subordinate to this court. So this is the position. Look at it.
So, okay, do you think that the independence of the judiciary has been compromised?
Completely. There's no question of any independent judiciary. That pillar is gone. That pillar is demolished, and on that basis, a new pillar is being lifted up, and that is a pillar of establishment.
But then the people gave examples of former Chief Justice Iftikhar Chaudhry and Saqib Nisar, people like them. They were in the former judicial structure where they were involved into a kind of a political, maneuvering and making decisions which were which destroyed the very structure of democracy in this country.
It is absolutely absurd, absolutely wrong. If you see the constitution in its original form, you will find that any prime minister or the federal minister, when he takes oath, there's a sentence in the contents of the oath, and that is, I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of Pakistan. Meaning thereby, it is the duty of the executive to protect, to defend, and to preserve the fundamental rights enshrined in the Constitution to any individual in Pakistan. Now, similarly, when a judge of High Court or Supreme Court or the Chief Justice of the High Court or the Supreme Court or any judge of the Superior Court, when he takes oath, the same sentence is also there. I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of Pakistan. So, meaning thereby, if there is a dereliction of duty by the executive, and executive doesn't take notice that the fundamental rights have been violated, then somebody files a petition before the Superior Court, High Court, or before the Supreme Court, or under Article 184(3), Supreme Court had the suo motu power also. If fundamental rights were denied to a person and it has been brought to the notice of the Supreme Court on its own can take notice, judicial notice on it, and issue notice, and can open inquisitorial proceeding. They can go and probe into the matter. If it is not done, had this clause and this article is not in the Constitution, or it has been removed from the Constitution, it means if there is any violation of the fundamental right and there is no forum where one can go to file a complaint, and a judiciary or judge of Supreme Court or the High Court would come to the rescue of a person to provide him a fundamental right. So in the absence thereof, the Constitution as a social contract fails. So you can understand the importance of this independence of judiciary and the suo motu authority. This suo motu authority, now it has been eradicated. It has been completely abolished.
But so in the past, it was being misused. It was being used to misuse many times.
So question is, if they feel there is abuse of authority or misuse of authority, it is all the more reason to appoint a judge with more scrutiny, with no with the, you can say, while selection of while selecting a judge, he should be selected on the basis of his professionalism and integrity, honesty, and the knowledge. It is the deviation from these aspects that the judges are not of that quality, and it does not mean that you close the judicial institution.
Okay.
If there is
Why there is an impression before even 26th or 27th Amendment that
it is
judiciary in Pakistan, it has been involved with the politics.
it has never been, no question. Question is that uh, they have gone deep into the corruption. Mostly now the politicians, they join the politics, taking it as the most lucrative business. They enter into corruption and there is nobody to ask them. And now the judiciary being under the thumb of the executive, no, absolutely, it is a despotic now state. This is despotism and nothing else. So this
Finally,
is the
okay.
state of affairs.
Okay. Final question, please. Kindly tell me that since the former DGI, Gen Faiz, has been convicted, so there is an opinion of the federal government and the people in power that uh, DGI and the former Prime Minister, they had a political nexus with each other. So do you see any more cases being filed against the former prime minister and the cases which are going on in the judiciary? What you see their fate or destination?
These possibilities cannot be ruled out because the way they are proceeding and the way they are against Imran Khan and its political party, and also this General Faiz Hamid. When Faiz Hamid was initially, when he was arrested for court martial, I appreciate it. I said it is good that some senior officer has been arrested, and there is going to be a case of against him for entering into politics. But question is, there are many serving senior military officers who are directly entered into politics, despite the fact that while taking oath, it is under the constitution, it is specifically laid down a sentence that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of Pakistan. I shall uphold the Constitution, and I shall not indulge myself into politics. And even then, if Faiz Hamid has been singled out, then it's a case of victimization. If there is no discrimination and all such officers are being prosecuted and they are brought to book, then it's something very healthy, self, you can say, the Pakistan Armed
Accountability,
Forces
yeah,
self accountability.
yeah. So finally, please tell me that do you think that the policy which the PTI leadership, especially Imran Khan, when he most of the time his Twitter handle issues certain tweets which in fact defame uh, the military institution and the leadership, directly attacking on the military leadership. Do you think in the present circumstances when Pakistan is faced with terrorism and challenges from the eastern and the western border, do you think that this policy of confrontation is going to help the leadership of the PTI?
Uh, to me, this situation, which is very volatile in Pakistan, terrorism, we are, of course, Pakistan is victim, has been and still victim of terrorism, and particularly in two provinces. This is the Pakhtunkhwa province and then Balochistan, which are which having a long boundary with Afghanistan. So, question is, at this stage, the Pakistan Armed Forces should focus and concentrate on the security matters, and they must not think of the internal political matters. So their concentration would be adding to their workability towards professionalism, and their image as a hero will be further exalted, and which is very healthy, which would be very healthy sign
But
for
the
the people of
government, but the
Pakistan.
government, but the government says that even the victory against India in May this year wasn't being um, in a real manner accepted or appreciated by the leadership of PTI.
No, no, no.
Why
It's not
this?
the. It is.
Why this impression
It
is being
is.
given?
It is when there was a battle with India, every Pakistani appreciated, not only appreciated, again, the image of hero was brought back. You know, with after this sad incident of 9th of May, there was the image of the armed forces were grossly tarnished to me, because it was an orchestrated plan which was devised. This plan was devised by uh, Nawaz Sharif and Shabazz to disgrace armed forces, and it was a two-pronged attack on Pakistan to
But
destroy.
they accuse Imran Khan and PTI. I
This,
mean Nawaz Sharif and
yes,
Shabazz Sharif. They
of
say that
course.
they have brought a bad name to the military.
No, no. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You can, if you see the consensus of the people during the days when Indian attacked and Pakistan, uh, in return, Pakistan destroyed them
Responded to them.
completely. Their air force strike capability. Everyone in Pakistan was appreciating and feeling, and the armed forces of Pakistan, and they are like heroes. And that was the time that image has to be restored. But when officer will enter into politics, that image will be tarnished, and which is absolutely.
That's why the DGISP are time and again in the different press conferences. In fact, he has
But he closed his
categorically said
eyes.
that he categorically said that the armed
DGISI.
forces should not be dragged into the politics, and they should not be addressed. It is the political government that the PTI has to speak to them.
No, who doesn't know? Who doesn't know that what has happened to the constitution? What has happened to the election results? And how could the election rigged to that extent? Had there not been any involvement of the forces, military establishment in the politics? So there are things. Still, time is there. Still, they should think in terms of strengthening Pakistan instead of destroying Imran Khan and its political party.
Do you think that that the politics of confrontation will, result into a positive kind of gestures for the nation and for the country? Do you think that there should be a, the stakeholders should sit across the table and resolve all these issues, amicably?
I so many time in the talk shows I said this the high time that establishment should play a role of an elder brother. They should force the political forces, the present government and PTI to sit across the table to resolve their disputes amicably. And it will be a healthy sign for the Pakistan, not only to that extent, but to flourish the socio-political-economic side, which is very essentially required. But of course, something is wrong somewhere. Nobody is going to take that initiative.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Ahmed Awais, Senior Advocate, Supreme Court of Pakistan, a leader of PTI, and he was former Advocate General Punjab, for joining us tonight. Thank you very much.